33, the complex question. The contemporary fallacy of demanding a direct answer to a question that cannot be answered without first analyzing or challenging the basis of the question itself. Just answer me yes or no. Did you think you could get away with plagiarism and not suffer the consequences? Oh my God. Or why did you rob that bank? Also applies to situations where one is forced to either accept or reject complex standpoints or propositions containing both acceptable and unacceptable parts, a corruption of the argument from logos, a counterpart of either or reasoning. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie. This one has been used on me more than any other fallacy on this list. And it is,
so far.
I
Alan, you don't know the other fallacies on the list.
I don't know the other fallacies on this list, Bryce, but what I can tell you is that when we started doing this, I was waiting for this one, not knowing what it was called. Um, this was potentially the most painful experience. I've had no more painful experiences than with this fallacy.
Then I would love to hear the story because I think a lot of people would identify with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh God. Yeah, this one's a really tough one, man. This was emotional. So, um, yeah, I have no problem with saying this one directly.
Actually, before you dive into it, hold the thought though. Don't forget it. This one is commonly known as the loaded question
Yeah.
fallacy. Um, and I just checked now, and loaded question isn't on this list.
Okay.
And normally it would say like also loaded
Loaded
question, but
question.
it doesn't. So just letting everyone know this is more often known as the loaded question fallacy. So Alan, if you want to describe this one, calling it loaded question, feel free, but do
Okay.
what you want.
Yeah, complex. I genuinely loaded question. Yes, I like complex question because I think what that embodies is the true essence of this, which is that there's so much complexity built in a single question that it breaks the brain. So I was I was in a relationship where this was constantly used to manipulate me into looking like the dumb one, um the irresponsible one. Like it was just used constantly because I remember so clearly every time this was done, some type of a question where the like example, like I love this. Why did you rob that bank? Like there's nowhere you can go with that question. It's like you're being cornered immediately. And it's like,
The middle school version of this is, does your mom know that you're gay? And it's like, if you say yes, then you're gay. And if you say no, you're still gay, but she doesn't know. And so the loaded question is assuming that you're gay.
yeah,
And that's what the fallacy is that there's information in it that's in question, but it's being asserted as true.
yeah. And it just it's just a heavy one for me, man. It really it's like because it was being I was being because like every time that would happen, I remember being stunned because I remember hearing the question that was asked me, and this happened every time. It was the same formula every time. The complex question was asked. I went into a pause and confusion because I'm like, because I noticed I'm like, there's only one way I can answer this question. And if I answer this question the way it's being asked to be answered, I am admitting to fault or things that I did not do or did not commit to. And it felt, I remember being, it was like I got stunned for two reasons. One, stunned because I was like, my real and authentic answer to what I think this question is trying to answer or trying to ask is not included in the list of responses that could be uh, delivered as a result of the question, while simultaneously being in shock that this person was doing that in the first place, like creating a scenario over and over and over again where I was being framed in a shitty way, but also not being valid, like my soul, my heart, my sovereignty, my individuality, my individual experience was being thrown away at the usage for this person to feel better about themselves. And it was a constant, it was daily. It was a daily experience of this person needing me to look dumb, stupid, incapable, irresponsible, impulsive, unintelligent on a daily basis so they could feel better about themselves. Definitely one of the most painful and traumatic things in my life, without question.
Yeah. But now you have this in your arsenal.
I do have it. I do have it in my arsenal, and it doesn't. It's like it's interesting. I read it right,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't. It doesn't change the memories. So there's
For sure.
yeah. I really empathize with people who go through this a lot, just because I understand how damaging it can be. Um, and I know it goes without saying, but just for the record and for people who are listening, no one ever deserves to be communicated with in that way ever. And um my personal advice or share for you is if there's someone in your life who is using this on you constantly or at all, you don't need them in your life. You don't need that kind of stuff in your life. You just don't.
The thing that helps me against this, because this has been used on me as well. Um, Knowing fallacies is to simply dismantle it. And someone will say that thing to me, and I'm like, your question is a loaded question fallacy. You and I explained to them the fallacy. And now anytime I've done that, they are afraid to ever do that to me again because I'm going to call them out on their bull crap. And I'm like, here's what happened. But if you let this get to you, then they feel like they're winning and they're going to do it over and over again. So dismantle the fallacy. Um, Now you can use this in a playful way. I used this yesterday. Yesterday on Facebook, I wrote a status that was simply bringing awareness to like what uh, civil rights are and like how that has been kind of put into this little box called woke. And apparently, woke is like the worst thing that something can be now, while simultaneously means um, inclusion and diversity and equity and civil rights. And so my question on Facebook was, what is woke and why is it good? And the loaded question is that it's good. And so, and the people who it would piss off, who thinks it's not good, I want them to comment. I want to figure it out. Because if I'm wrong about something, I want to know. And so they would be the ones to challenge me. So I did do that intentionally in a playful way. So not every fallacy is evil, but I think the way, at least I think the way I phrased it was kind of taken as hyperbole, like as more of a joke rather than like I'm actually asserting this.
I think people generally know how you speak, and I think they know your heart posture behind what you do. You know, good intentions. Yeah.
I appreciate it.